The small village of Hainam sat quietly between tall mountains. For many years, nothing strange happened there. People farmed, made food, and lived simple lives. Until one night when everything changed. Neri sat on her porch, feeling the cool night air on her face. She was 17 years old and had been blind since birth. While she could not see with her eyes, Neri had other ways of knowing the world. She could smell rain before it fell. She could feel tiny changes in the air that others missed. Her grandmother Duri said Neri had special gifts. "Something is different tonight," Neri said, turning her face up to the sky. Her grandmother, who sat beside her, looked up. "The stars are bright." Nothing more. But Neri shook her head. "No, something is coming. I can feel it." Just as she said this, a bright light shot across the sky. People came out of their houses, pointing up. The light grew bigger and brighter. "What's happening?" Neri asked, feeling the fear in the air. "A light in the sky," her grandmother said in a tight voice. "Moving fast. Coming this way." The village filled with scared voices. Children cried. Dogs barked. The light in the sky turned, then shot down toward the forest beyond the village. When it hit, the ground shook. A boom echoed between the mountains. It crashed. Someone yelled. "Something from space crashed in our forest." Phones rang as people called friends and family. Soon, everyone was talking about the strange light. Some said it was a meteor. Others whispered about aliens and invaders. By morning, news teams would come. By afternoon, soldiers. But that night, as the village buzzed with fear, Neri felt something nobody else did. A pull. A call. Something in her mind reached out like a hand in the dark. "Grandmother, I need to walk," she said, standing up. "Not tonight," Duri said firmly. "Something dangerous has come. Everyone must stay inside." Neri nodded, but the pull in her mind grew stronger. While the others talked about what they had seen, Neri listened to something they could not hear. A voice without words. A feeling without a name. Later that night, when the house was quiet and her grandmother slept, Neri got up. She moved silently through the small house, her fingers touching familiar walls and furniture. She knew every inch of her home. She took her walking stick from beside the door and slipped outside. The night air felt electric. Neri breathed deeply and turned toward the forest. The pull was stronger now, like a rope tied to her heart. She had walked the path to the forest many times, feeling the stones and roots with her stick and feet. Tonight, she moved with purpose. "I'm coming," she whispered, though she didn't know who she was talking to. As she walked deeper into the trees, the sounds of the village faded. The forest was alive with night noises, small animals moving, leaves rustling. But there was something new, a hum in the air, a warmth that didn't belong. Neri followed this strange feeling. Her walking stick tapped on rocks and roots. Her free hand reached out to touch tree trunks as she passed. She was not afraid. For the first time in her life, she felt like she was exactly where she needed to be. The forest grew thicker. The path ended. Still, Neri kept walking, drawn forward by the invisible pull. Then she smelled something burning. Metal and strange chemicals. The hum grew louder. She stepped into a clearing and stopped. The air here felt wrong. Hot. Broken. Something large had pushed down trees and dug into the earth. "Hello," she called softly. "Is someone there?" The night went quiet. Even the insects stopped their songs. Neri felt a presence, huge and foreign, and watching her with great interest. Then, in her mind, came a voice like water flowing over stones. "Asterisk, I see you, child of earth. Though your eyes are dark, you see me too, asterisk." Neri's heart beat fast, but she wasn't afraid. She took another step forward. "Who are you?" she asked. "Asterisk, I am far from home." Asterisk, the voice answered in her thoughts. Asterisk, and "I am hurt," asterisk. Neri stood very still in the clearing. The voice in her mind was unlike anything she had ever known. It felt like cool water moving through her thoughts. "You're hurt," she asked, speaking out loud. How can I help you? She heard something move. It was big and heavy. Leaves crunched under its weight. Neri held her walking stick tighter, but did not step back. I won't hurt you, she said. Please, let me help. The voice came again into her mind. I cannot return to my ship. It is broken. I am trapped here. Neri took a careful step forward, then another. Her stick hit something solid. She reached out her hand and touched something amazing. Fur, softer than anything she had ever felt, but it moved under her fingers like water or wind, and it was warm. What are you? She whispered. I am a traveler, a watcher of worlds. Your people would not understand my true name. It has no sound, only feeling. Neri's hand moved along the creature's side. It was huge, shaped like a big cat. A leopard, maybe, but much larger than any earth animal. You feel like the stream behind my house, Neri said, flowing and peaceful. I will call you Doyen. It means flowing water in my language. Doyen. The name feels right. The strange being shifted its weight. My leg is damaged, and my communication device is broken. My team will not know where to find me. Neri's hands found the injured leg. It was hot and wet with something that was not quite blood. It smelled like metal and flowers. You need help, she said. Medicine. Food. I cannot go to your village. Your people would fear me. They would try to kill me. Neri nodded. She knew this was true. People feared what they did not understand, and they would not understand Doyen. I will bring things to you, she decided. Food. Bandages. But I must go now, before dawn comes. My grandmother will worry. Doyen made a sound, half purr, half hum. Why do you help me, child? You cannot see me. You do not fear me. Why? Neri smiled. I see differently. Not with my eyes, but with my heart. And my heart tells me you are not here to hurt us. She heard voices in the distance, people from the village, coming to look at the crash. I must go, she said quickly. Hide yourself. I will come back tonight. Neri hurried away, finding the path back to the village with her stick and memory. Her mind was full of questions, but she kept them quiet. She needed to act normal when she got home. The sun was just rising when Neri slipped back into her house. But her grandmother was waiting. Where were you? Duri asked, her voice sharp with worry. I couldn't sleep, Neri said. It wasn't a lie. Not really. I needed air. On this night, when something falls from the sky. Foolish girl. Duri took Neri's arm. Your clothes smell like smoke. You went to the forest, didn't you? To the crash. Neri lowered her head. I was careful. The whole village is talking. Men with guns will come soon. They say it might be a foreign spy plane. Or worse. Duri's voice dropped to a whisper. Things from the stars are not for us to touch, Neri. Remember the old stories. But Neri wasn't listening. She was thinking about food to bring Doyen. Medicine for his wound. She would need bandages, clean water, maybe some of her grandmother's healing herbs. All day, the village buzzed with talk. People came and went from the forest. By noon, men in uniforms arrived. They put up barriers and told everyone to stay away from the crash site. They asked questions. Had anyone seen anything strange? Had anyone been to the forest last night? Neri sat quietly on her porch, listening. No one suspected the blind girl knew anything. No one thought she could find her way to the crash alone. That night, she waited until the house was quiet again. She packed a bag with leftover rice, dried fish, bandages, and herbs. She took a water bottle and filled it at the well. Getting past the uniformed men was harder. They had lights and guns, but Neri knew the forest better than they did. She found a small path that led around their barriers. She moved slowly, carefully, making no sound. When she reached the clearing, she called softly, Doyen. It's me, Neri. I brought help. For a moment, there was silence. Then she felt the warm presence in her mind again. You came back. I did not think you would. Doyen moved out from his hiding place. In the darkness, his strange fur glowed faintly with tiny lights, like stars woven into his coat. I promised, Neri said simply. She held out her bag. I brought food and medicine for your wound. As she tended to the injured being from the stars, Neri knew her life had changed forever. In the quiet forest, under a sky full of stars neither of them could see. Neri because of her blindness, Doyen because of Earth's heavy clouds, a friendship began that would change the fate of two worlds. For 7 nights, Neri snuck out to the forest. Each time, she brought food and fresh bandages for Doyen. The strange leopard from the stars was getting stronger. His leg was healing, but the soldiers around the crash site were growing in number. On the 8th night, Neri almost got caught. A young soldier heard her moving through the trees and called out. Neri froze, holding her breath. Who's there? The soldier called, shining a light. Neri recognized the voice. It was Shunho, a boy from her village who had joined the military last year. They had been friends as children. It's just me, she said, stepping forward. Neri. The light lowered. Neri, what are you doing out here? It's dangerous. I like to walk at night, she said. The air is cool, and no one watches me with sad eyes. Shunho came closer, but the forest is off limits now. There's something dangerous here. What is it? Neri asked, pretending she didn't know. They won't tell us exactly, only that it came from the sky. Shunho touched her arm gently. You shouldn't be here. Captain Taho is strict. He would arrest even a blind girl. Captain Taho. He arrived yesterday from the capital. A hard man. Cold eyes. Shunho lowered his voice. They're bringing more equipment tomorrow. Big guns. They say they're hunting something. Neri's heart beat faster. She needed to warn Doyen. I'll go home, she said. I promise. I'll walk you to the edge of the forest, Shunho said, to make sure you're safe. Neri had no choice but to let him lead her away from Doyen's hiding place. As they walked, Shunho told her about the soldiers' camp. They found something in the crash that scared them, he said. Metal that isn't from Earth. And tracks, like a big cat, but wrong somehow. What will they do if they find it? Neri asked. Kill it, I think, or capture it for study. Shunho stopped at the forest edge. Promise me you won't come back here, Neri. I promise, she lied. As soon as Shunho left, Neri took a different path back into the forest. She needed to reach Doyen. When she finally found him, his fur was dim. He was worried. They are getting closer, his voice said in her mind. They have machines that can sense my body heat. We need to move you, Neri said. Somewhere safer. But where? Doyen was too big to hide in the village, and he was still too weak to travel far. For hours, they talked and planned. Doyen told Neri about his home among the stars. His people were peaceful explorers who studied other worlds. They never showed themselves to less advanced species. But why did you crash here? Neri asked. A problem with our ship. We were studying your oceans when something went wrong. The others escaped in the small craft. I stayed to fix the main ship, but it was too damaged. Will they come back for you? Yes, but they must be careful. If they come too openly, your military will see them. That would break our highest law, not to interfere with developing worlds. Neri thought hard. We need to find a way for you to contact them without the soldiers noticing. Doyen's fur brightened a little. There is a small device in the wreckage. A communicator. If I had it, I could send a message. Where in the wreckage? The main control room. But the soldiers guard it day and night. Neri smiled. Nobody watches a blind girl too closely. They think I can't see anything important. No, Doyen's voice was firm in her mind. It is too dangerous. More dangerous than letting them find you. Neri asked. I can do this. I know I can. The next morning, the the village was full of new soldiers. They went door to door, asking questions. When they came to Neri's house, her grandmother invited them in. "We are looking for any unusual activity," a cold voice said. "This must be Captain Tahoe," Neri thought. "Any strangers in the area?" "We have seen no one," Duri said. "And heard nothing?" Tahoe asked. "My men tell me your granddaughter walks in the forest at night." Neri felt her grandmother stiffen beside her. "She knows the paths well," Duri said. "She has walked them since childhood." "Even a blind girl might hear something useful," Tahoe said. His voice came closer to Neri. "Have you heard anything strange in the forest, girl? Any sounds that don't belong?" Neri kept her face calm. "Only soldiers, sir, moving through the trees at night, breaking branches with their heavy boots." There was a pause. Then Tahoe laughed, but it wasn't a kind sound. "Watch her," he said to someone else. "She has a sharp tongue for a blind girl." After the soldiers left, Duri grabbed Neri's arm. "No more night walks," she said. "Those men are dangerous. They're not just looking for something from the sky. They're watching us too." But Neri knew she had to go back to the forest, not just to help Doyen, but now to find the communicator. As the day went on, she listened to the village talk. She learned where the soldiers had set up their main camp, where they kept the pieces of the crashed ship. And most importantly, she learned when Juno would be guarding the wreckage that night. If anyone would help her, it would be her old friend, whether he knew what he was helping with or not. When night fell, Neri prepared for her most dangerous trip yet into the forest. This time, she wasn't just visiting Doyen. She was going to steal from the military. The village meeting hall was packed with people. Captain Tahoe stood at the front, his face serious. A large screen behind him showed blurry pictures. "This is what we're hunting," he said, pointing to a shape in the trees. The picture was dark and unclear, but it showed something big moving between the trees, something with the shape of a large cat. Gasps filled the room. Neri sat with her grandmother, listening carefully. "This creature is not from Earth," Tahoe continued. "It is dangerous. It has already killed 3 goats from farms near the forest." "That's not true," an old farmer called out. "Mountain cats have always taken goats. This is nothing new." "This is not a normal mountain cat," Tahoe said. His voice was hard. "This is an alien life form. Its blood is not like ours. Its mind is not like ours. We don't know what it wants or what diseases it might carry." Neri squeezed her hands together tightly. She knew Doyen had not hurt any animals. He ate the food she brought him, rice and vegetables, never meat. "Starting tonight, we will hunt this creature," Tahoe said. "We have special weapons that can track its unusual body heat. No one is to enter the forest until we have caught or killed it." More gasps, more worried voices. Neri felt sick. "Grandmother," she whispered, "Doyen is not dangerous. He's my friend." Duri stiffened beside her. "What did you say?" "Nothing," Neri said quickly. But her grandmother's hand gripped her arm tightly. "You know the creature. You gave it a name." Neri lowered her head. She hadn't meant to say Doyen's name out loud. After the meeting, Duri took Neri straight home. She closed all the doors and windows before speaking. "You've been in the forest," she said. "It wasn't a question. You found what fell from the sky." "He's not dangerous," Neri said. "He's lost and hurt. His name is Doyen. He speaks to me in my mind." "In your mind?" Duri's voice grew sharp. "Child, do you know how crazy that sounds? But it's true." Neri stood up straighter. "He's a scientist. His people study other worlds. They never harm anyone." "And how do you know this?" "Because the creature told you." Duri shook her head. "If it can put thoughts in your head, it can put lies there too." Neri tried to explain more, but her grandmother wouldn't listen. Instead, Duri locked the doors and took the keys. "You will not leave this house tonight," she said firmly. "I'm doing this to protect you." But Neri knew she had to warn Doyen. The soldiers were coming with their special weapons. They would find him. They would kill him. When her grandmother finally fell asleep, Neri went to her bedroom window. It was small, but she could fit through it. Quietly, she pushed it open and slipped out into the night. The forest was different tonight. Neri could hear engines running, men calling to each other, dogs barking. The hunt had begun. She took side paths, staying away from the sounds. It was harder to move quickly, but safer. When she finally reached Doyen's hiding place, she was out of breath. "Doyen," she called softly. "They're coming. They have weapons that can find you by your body heat." Doyen stepped out from behind a large rock. His fur glowed dimly in the darkness. "I know. I can hear their machines. Feel their minds, full of fear and hate. We need to move you," Neri said. "Now." But where? They thought together. The caves in the North Mountain were too far. The old mine shafts too dangerous. Then Neri had an idea. "The river," she said. "The cold water will hide your body heat. You can follow it up to the high valley. There are thick trees there, and fewer people. It might work, but I am still weak. The journey will be hard." "I'll come with you," Neri said. "I know the way." She heard a branch snap nearby. Then voices. Soldiers were coming closer. "We must go now," Doyen said in her mind. Together, they moved through the dark forest toward the sound of running water. Neri led the way, her walking stick finding the path. Doyen followed, his huge paws silent on the forest floor. They had almost reached the river when bright lights suddenly flashed around them. Voices shouted. Dogs barked wildly. "There it is," someone yelled. "The alien." "And there's someone with it," another voice called. "A villager." Neri froze in fear. Doyen pressed against her side, his fur bristling. "We are caught," he said in her mind. Then a familiar voice cut through the noise. "Neri, is that you?" It was Shunho. He pushed through the other soldiers, his face shocked in the bright lights. "Step away from that thing," he said. Slowly. "No." Neri put her hand on Doyen's side. "He's my friend. He won't hurt anyone." "Friend?" Shunho sounded confused. "Neri, that's not a normal animal. It's not from Earth." "I know what he is," Neri said. "Better than any of you. He speaks to me. He's peaceful." The other soldiers were raising their weapons. Neri could hear the hum of electricity. The special guns Tahoe had mentioned. "Please," she begged. "Junho, you know me. I wouldn't lie. Doyen crashed here by accident. His people will come for him. But if you hurt him, they might never trust humans again." Junho hesitated. For a long moment, no one moved. Then another voice came from behind the soldiers, cold and hard. "Captain Tahoe, move aside," he ordered. "We take the creature now." "But sir," Junho started. "The girl says." "The girl is blind," Tahoe snapped. "And the creature has clearly affected her mind. Move aside. That's an order." Neri felt Doyen tense beside her. His thoughts filled her mind. "I will not let them take me. But I will not harm you or your friend. If I run, will you be safe?" "No," Neri whispered. "They'll blame me for helping you." Doyen's fur brightened, pulsing with star-like lights. The soldiers stepped back, raising their weapons higher. "What's it doing?" someone asked nervously. "Preparing to attack," Tahoe said. "Fire on my command." "Wait." Junho moved in front of Neri. "Sir, we can't shoot. We'll hit the girl." In that moment of confusion, Doyen made his choice. His voice filled Neri's mind one more time. "I surrender. For your safety, not mine. Tell them I will go with them willingly." Neri's heart sank, but she knew Doyen was right. Fighting would only make things worse. "He says he'll go with you," she announced, peacefully, "but you must promise not to hurt him." The soldiers looked at each other in surprise. They hadn't expected this. "It talks to you?" Junho asked softly. In my mind, Neri said. He's a scientist, not a monster. Captain Teo pushed forward. Secure the creature. And take the girl too. She has information we need. As the soldiers moved in with their restraints, Neri felt tears on her cheeks. This was not how it was supposed to end. They had been so close to escape. Now they were both prisoners. And Neri knew that Captain Tahoe had no intention of keeping any promise not to hurt her friend from the stars. The military base was cold. Neri sat in a small room with metal walls. They had taken her walking stick. They had asked her questions for hours. How had she found the alien? How did it speak to her? What had it told her about its people? Neri answered some questions but kept many things secret. She did not tell them about the communicator in the crashed ship. She did not tell them about Doyen's people watching Earth. She only said that Doyen was peaceful and needed help. Where is he now? She asked for the 10th time. Is he okay? The soldier asking questions ignored her. When did you first hear the creature in your mind? His name is Doyen, Neri said firmly. And I want to know if he's hurt. The door opened. Someone new walked in. From the way the soldier stood up quickly, Neri could tell it was someone important. Leave us, the new person said. It was Captain Tahoe. When they were alone, Tahoe sat across from Neri. The creature is alive, he said. We have it in a special room. It is not speaking to anyone. He's scared, Neri said, and he only speaks through thoughts. Yes, so you said. Tahoe's voice was flat. But why you? Why can only you hear it? Neri had wondered the same thing. Why her and not others? She thought about it before answering. I think it's because I'm blind, she said slowly. I don't use my eyes like other people. Maybe that opened my mind to hear him. Interesting theory. Papers rustled as Tahoe flipped through a file. Your grandmother tells us you've always been different, more aware of things others don't notice. My other senses are stronger, Neri said. It wasn't the whole truth, but it was close enough. I want you to try something, Tahoe said. We will take you to the creature. See if you can get it to talk to us through you. Neri's heart beat faster. She would see Doyen again, but she had to be careful. Tahoe didn't really care about talking to Doyen. He wanted information, weapons, secrets. I'll try, she said, but Doyen has to be treated well. No more tests, no more pain. That's not for you to decide, Tahoe said coldly. Then I won't help you, Neri said. She crossed her arms. Doyen will only trust me if I can tell him you'll be kind. There was a long silence. Then Tahoe stood up. Fine. No more painful tests. For now. 2 soldiers led Neri down long hallways. She counted the steps, remembering the way. She heard strange sounds, machines beeping, people talking about stars and signals and blood samples. They were studying everything from the crash. Finally, they stopped at a heavy door. It opened with a hiss. 10 minutes, Tahoe said from behind her. That's all. Neri walked into the room. It was big and empty except for a large cage in the center. She could feel Doyen's presence before he made a sound. Doyen, she called softly. Neri. His voice in her mind was weak, tired. Are you hurt? She asked, moving closer to the cage. They took blood, many times, and put machines on my head. They try to hear my thoughts, but they cannot. Neri reached the cage and put her hand through the bars. She felt Doyen's fur, usually so bright and moving like water. Now it was dull and still. I'm going to help you, she whispered. I promise. Be careful. The cold man watches everything, listens to all words. Neri nodded slightly. She knew Tahoe was watching. Speaking louder, she said, Doyen wants to know why you're keeping him here. He says his people will be worried. Ask it how many of its kind are on Earth. Tahoe called from the doorway. Neri pretended to listen, then said, None now. The others escaped when the ship crashed. They will come back for him when they can safely do so. When? Tahoe demanded. Again, Neri pretended to listen. He doesn't know. Their laws say they must be careful not to show themselves to humans. If too many humans see them, they must leave Earth alone for 100 years. That was a lie, but a useful one. Neri hoped it would make Tahoe more careful. Tell it we want to learn, not fight, Tahoe said. His voice was softer now, trying to sound friendly. We want to understand its technology, its science. Neri didn't need to ask Doyen. She already knew the answer. He says his people believe each world must develop on its own. Giving advanced technology to humans now would be like giving a baby a gun. Tahoe made an angry sound. That's enough for today. The soldiers took Neri back to her room. But something had changed. During those few minutes with Doyen, their mental connection had grown stronger. Even now, with walls between them, she could feel his thoughts. That night, as Neri lay on the hard bed in her locked room, Doyen's voice came to her mind. Can you still hear me, Neri? Yes, she whispered. How is this possible? Our connection grows. Your mind is special, different from other humans. You can sense things they cannot. My grandmother once said our family was different, Neri said. She never explained how. Listen carefully. There is something I must teach you, a way to make our connection stronger. With practice, you could hear the thoughts of others too, not just me. Other humans? Neri was shocked. Not as clearly, but enough to know their feelings, their plans. It might help us escape. For hours, Doyen taught Neri how to focus her mind, how to reach out with her thoughts, how to feel the world in a new way. It was hard at first. Her head hurt. But slowly she began to sense things. The guard outside her door was bored and sleepy. Down the hall, a scientist was excited about a test result. And farther away, she felt Chunho's familiar mind, worried and confused. By morning, Neri was tired but stronger. She could reach farther with her thoughts. She could send simple feelings to Doyen, not just receive his. When Tahoe came to question her again, Neri sensed his plans before he spoke. He wanted to move Doyen to a bigger facility, to take him apart and study him. The thought made her sick. I have a message from Doyen, she said before Tahoe could start his questions. He says he will help you understand his ship's technology, but only if I can stay with him. Only if you promise not to hurt him. Tahoe's surprise rippled through his mind. He hadn't expected this offer. How would it help us? He asked carefully. He can tell you how the metal was made, how the engines work, but not how to build weapons. Neri kept her face calm. It's the best offer you'll get. What Tahoe didn't know was that this would give Neri and Doyen time. Time to strengthen their connection. Time to find the communicator. Time to call for help. I'll think about it, Tahoe said. But Neri could feel he had already decided. He would say yes, not because he planned to keep his promise, but because he thought he could get what he wanted, and then break it. What he didn't understand was that with each passing hour, Neri's powers were growing. The connection between her and Doyen was becoming something new, something neither human nor alien had seen before. And soon, very soon, they would be ready to show Tahoe exactly what that meant. 3 days passed. Neri spent every morning with Doyen, teaching the scientists simple things about his world. She was careful not to tell them too much, just enough to keep them happy, just enough to stay close to Doyen. The rest of the time, she worked with Chunho. Captain Tahoe had assigned him to watch her, to write down everything she said. But Chunho was still her friend. When they were alone, he asked real questions about Doyen. So his people have been watching Earth for a long time? Chunho asked as they walked through the base. Neri was allowed short walks now, but never outside. Yes, she said. They watch many worlds. They learn and study, but never interfere. And they really talk without words, just thoughts. Neri nodded. It's how they communicate with each other, but most humans can't hear them. Except you, Chunho said. His voice was thoughtful. Because you're blind. Not just because I'm blind. There's something else. Nari hesitated, then decided to trust him. Doyen thinks it's in my family. A gift passed down. They turned a corner, and Nari felt a change in the air. The smell of metal and oil. They were near the room where the military kept pieces of Doyen's ship. Junho, she said quietly, I need your help. There's a small device in the wreckage. A communicator. Doyen needs it to contact his people. Junho stopped walking. You want me to steal it? Nari, that's crazy. They would put me in prison. Not steal, Nari said quickly. Just help me get to the wreckage. Let me touch the pieces. I'll know the communicator when I feel it. How? You can't see it. Doyen has shown me in my mind. I'll know. Junho was quiet for a long moment. Then he sighed. If we're caught. We won't be, Nari promised. Please. It's our only chance. The next day, Junho took Nari to the lab. He told the guards they had permission from Captain Tao to examine the wreckage. The lie worked. The guards let them in. Nari moved slowly among the tables of metal parts. Her fingers touched each piece carefully. Nothing felt right until she reached the fifth table. There, a small object shaped like a smooth stone. It hummed under her fingers. This was it. Found something interesting. Junho asked loudly, for the guards to hear. Nari shook her head. Nothing yet, but she slipped the small device into her pocket when no one was looking. That night, when Nari was alone in her room, she took out the communicator. It was warm in her hand, alive somehow. Doyen, she called with her mind. I have it. Good. His voice was clear in her head. Now we must activate it. But not yet. Wait until the base is quiet. At midnight, Nari sat on her bed with the device in her hands. Doyen guided her through her thoughts. Press here. Then here. Feel the warmth grow. The communicator began to hum. A soft sound that grew slowly louder. Nari felt it vibrate in her hands. What does it do? She asked in her mind. It calls to my people, Doyen explained. It tells them where I am. But it also does something else. It strengthens our mental bond. Makes it stronger. Nari felt a sudden warmth flow from the device through her hands and into her mind. Her awareness expanded. She could feel the whole base now. Every person. Every room. And far beyond, she felt the stars. Millions of minds looking down at Earth. But something was wrong. Alarms began to ring through the base, loud and sharp. The signal. Doyen's voice was urgent in her mind. They've detected it. Nari tried to turn off the communicator, but it was too late. She heard heavy boots running down the hall. The door to her room burst open. Soldiers rushed in. What have you done? One of them shouted, grabbing the device from her hands. They took Nari to a different room. This one had no bed, no windows, just a metal chair bolted to the floor. They made her sit and wait. Hours passed. Nari reached out with her mind, trying to find Doyen. He was still in his cage, but guards surrounded him now. More scientists, more machines. They were hurting him again, testing him. Finally, the door opened. Captain Tahoe walked in. His mind was dark with anger. The device you stole, he said coldly. It was sending a signal to space, calling others like your alien friend. His name is Doyen, Nari said. I don't care what you call it. Tahoe slammed his hand on the table. You've put the entire planet at risk. Do you understand? You've told them where to find us. They already know where Earth is, Nari said. They've been watching us for centuries. And now they're coming here, Tahoe said. Our satellites have detected a ship entering our solar system, moving fast. Nari felt a surge of hope. Doyen's people were coming for him. But Tahoe's next words crushed that hope. We are moving the creature to a secure facility underground, one they won't be able to detect, and you will never see it again. You can't do that. Nari stood up. Doyen needs me. Sit down, Tahoe ordered. When Nari didn't move, he pushed her back into the chair. You don't understand what you've done. If these aliens come in force, we have no way to fight them. No way to protect ourselves. They don't want to fight, Nari insisted. They just want Doyen back. So you say. Tahoe's voice was cold. But I won't risk the safety of this planet on the word of a blind girl who's been mind-controlled by an alien. The door opened again. Nari sensed someone new. Someone familiar. Sir, Junho said. The transport is ready. Tahoe turned to leave. Good. Start loading the creature immediately. When Tahoe was gone, Junho came close to Nari. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't know what you were planning. It was you. Nari felt sick. You told him about the communicator. Not exactly. Junho's voice was strained. But he's been watching you. Watching me too. He knew we went to the lab. When the alarms went off, he figured out the rest. He's going to kill Doyen, Nari said. Cut him open to study him. You know that, right? They say it's for the good of everyone, Junho said. But his thoughts were troubled. Nari could feel his doubt. Help me, Junho. Nari reached for his hand. Help me reach Doyen before they take him away. I can't. Junho pulled back. They'll arrest me too. Then Earth will never know the truth, Nari said. And when Doyen's people come, they won't find friends. They'll find killers. Is that what you want humanity's first real contact with aliens to be? Junho was quiet for a long time. Then he sighed. I can get you 5 minutes with the alien. That's all. After that, you're on your own. It wasn't much, but it might be enough. If Nari could reach Doyen, if their mental connection was strong enough now, they might have one last chance to change everything. But as Junho led her from the room, Nari felt other minds moving through the base. Cold, focused minds. Men with guns and orders to shoot anything that tried to stop them from taking Doyen away. Time was running out. The lab where they kept Doyen was busy with people. Scientists packed equipment. Soldiers stood with guns ready. In the center, Doyen lay in his cage, too weak to stand. His once bright fur was dull and flat. Junho led Nari through the crowd. 5 minutes, he told the guards. Captain's orders. The guards looked doubtful, but stepped aside. Nari knelt by the cage. She reached through the bars and touched Doyen's side. I'm here, she whispered. Nari. His voice in her mind was faint. They have hurt me badly. I know. Tears filled Nari's eyes. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. No, it was always going to end this way. Humans fear what they do not understand. Not all humans, Nari said. Some of us want to learn, to be friends. Yes, that is why my people have watched Earth for so long. We see both the darkness and the light in your kind. Junho touched Nari's shoulder. 2 minutes left, he warned. Nari leaned closer to the cage. Your people are coming. Tahoe said they detected a ship. Yes, I feel them approaching. But they will be too late. The cold man plans to take me far away, to a place deep under the earth. We have to stop them, Nari said. But how? There is a way. Doyen's voice grew stronger in her mind, but it will change you forever. The connection we have built, we can make it complete, permanent, my mind joined to yours. What would that do? It would save my life force, and it would give you all my memories, all my knowledge. But such a joining has never been done with a human before. The risk is great. Nari didn't hesitate. I'll do it. Tell me how. Place both hands on my head. Focus your mind on mine. Feel the space between us disappear. Nari reached into the cage and put her hands on Doyen's large head. His fur was cool under her fingers. She closed her eyes, though it made no difference to her sight, and reached out with her thoughts. At first, nothing happened. Then she felt a warmth begin between her hands. It spread up her arms and into her chest. Her head filled with light and strange sounds. She saw colors she had never seen before, even though she was blind. She saw stars and distant worlds. She saw Earth from space, blue and green and beautiful. And she saw the truth. Doyen's people had been guiding humanity for thousands of years. Subtly, carefully, they had helped humans develop. They had watched and waited, hoping that one day Earth would be ready to join the other peaceful worlds among the stars. But they had a rule. They would never force contact. Humans had to choose understanding over fear, compassion over violence. If humans failed this test, the Star Weavers would leave Earth alone for a century, waiting for humanity to mature. The connection between Nari and Doyen grew stronger. His memories flowed into her mind like water. His knowledge became hers. And as they joined, Doyen's physical form began to change. His fur glowed bright again, but then grew transparent. His body seemed to turn to light. "What's happening?" Shuno asked, his voice fearful. "Nari, what are you doing?" But Nari couldn't answer. She was lost in the joining. In her mind, Doyen spoke one last time. "I am giving you everything I am. My body will fade, but my essence will live in you. Tell my people what has happened here. Show them that some humans can be trusted." Around them, people were shouting. Alarms rang. Nari felt hands pulling at her, trying to break the connection. But it was too late. The joining was complete. When she finally opened her eyes, Doyen was gone. His cage was empty. But Nari was not the same. Her mind was full of stars. Knowledge from 1,000 worlds filled her thoughts. And though she was still blind to the physical world, she could see energy and thought all around her. "Where is it?" Captain Tahoe shouted, rushing into the room. "Where is the alien?" "Gone," Nari said, standing up. Her voice sounded different, deeper, older somehow, but also here. "What nonsense is this?" Tahoe grabbed her arm. "What did you do?" "I joined with him," Nari said simply. "We are one now." Tahoe's face went pale. He stepped back. "Contain her," he ordered the soldiers. "Full quarantine. She's been infected." But before anyone could move, the building began to shake. A deep hum filled the air. Lights flickered. Computers turned off and on again. "They're here," Nari said. "Doyen's people have arrived." Outside, a bright light filled the sky. The soldiers rushed to the windows. What they saw made them drop their weapons in shock. A ship hung in the air above the base. It was huge and beautiful, shaped like a giant flower made of light. "What do they want?" Junho asked, standing close to Nari. "To learn the truth," Nari said, "to see if humanity is ready." Captain Tahoe grabbed a gun from one of his men. He pointed it at Nari. "Tell them to leave," he demanded. "Tell them to go back where they came from." "Or what?" Nari asked. "You'll shoot me. Kill the only person who can speak to them. The only chance Earth has to make this right." Tahoe's hand shook. For the first time, he looked afraid. A new voice spoke from the doorway. "Put the gun down, Captain." Nari recognized the voice at once. Grandmother. Duri walked into the room. She looked small among the soldiers, but her back was straight and her face was calm. "This foolish man does not speak for Earth," Duri said, looking at Nari. "And he does not speak for our family." "How did you get in here?" Tahoe demanded. "This is a secure facility." "Your guards know me," Duri said simply. "I've been coming here every day, asking to see my granddaughter. Today, they finally listened." She came to Nari and took her hand. "I felt the change in you," she said softly. "The joining. It has happened before, you know. In our family." "What?" Nari was shocked. "You knew." "Not everything," Duri admitted. "But I knew we were different. Special. My grandmother told me stories of star people who spoke in dreams. I thought they were just stories until I felt the truth in you." The building shook again. The light outside grew brighter. "They're scanning the base," Nari said, knowledge from Doyen filling her mind. "Looking for him. I need to tell them what happened." You can't go out there, Tahoe said, still holding his gun. I won't allow it. It's not up to you, Junho said suddenly. He stepped between Tahoe and Neri. If we shoot at them, they might destroy us all. But Neri says they're peaceful. I believe her. Other soldiers looked at each other. One by one, they lowered their weapons. This is treason, Tahoe hissed. No, Junho said. This is humanity's future. He turned to Neri. What do you need to do? Take me outside, Neri said. I need to stand under the open sky. Junho and Duri led Neri out of the building. Soldiers followed, some curious, some afraid. Captain Tahoe came too, his face dark with anger, but his gun now at his side. The night air was cool on Neri's skin. She could feel the ship above them, a great presence in her mind. With Doyen's knowledge, she understood now how to reach out to it. She raised her hands to the sky and opened her mind fully. The truth of what had happened flowed out of her like light. She showed the Star Weavers everything. Finding Doyen, helping him, the capture, and finally, the joining. She showed them the fear in some humans, but also the courage and kindness in others. And then she waited. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a beam of light came down from the ship. It touched the ground in front of Nari. And in that light, a figure appeared. It looked almost human, but tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like Doyen's fur. I am Somin, the figure said. Its mouth didn't move. The words came directly into the minds of everyone present. I have received your message, Nari, who is now Doyen. Can you help him? Nari asked. Separate us. The joining cannot be undone, Somin said, but it does not need to be. You have become something new, something precious, the first true bridge between our kinds. Captain Tahoe pushed forward. You violated our world, he accused. Spied on us, interfered with us. We watched, Somin corrected. We learned. We waited for you to be ready. Ready for what? Junho asked. To join us among the stars, Somin answered. Many worlds, many peoples, living in peace, learning from each other, growing together. Somin turned back to Nari. But the choice must be made freely. What happened to Doyen was not free. It was fear, violence. Not all humans are the same, Neri said. Some of us want peace, want to learn. Show me, Somin said. And with that simple request, the true test began. Show me, Somin had said. Neri understood what the Star Weaver meant. Somin wanted to see into human minds, to know if Earth was truly ready to join the cosmic community. You want to read our thoughts? Captain Tahoe stepped back. Absolutely not. That's an invasion. It is not reading, Somin explained gently. It is sharing. I will share my mind with yours, and you with mine. A complete understanding. Like what happened between me and Doyen, Neri added. With Doyen's knowledge now part of her, she understood the process better, but not as deep, not permanent. I refuse, Tahoe said flatly. Somin's tall form seemed to dim slightly. Then we cannot know if humans are ready. We will leave Earth for now and return in 100 years. Wait, Junho stepped forward. I'll do it. I'll share my mind. You have no authority, Tahoe snapped. This isn't about authority, Junho said. It's about showing them who we really are, not just our fear. Neri felt a surge of pride for her friend. Junho is a good person, she told Somin. His mind is clear and honest. Somin studied Junho. One mind is not enough. We must see more than one path. Take mine too, Duri said, standing tall despite her age. I have lived long. I have seen much of what humans can be. Two is better, Somin agreed, but still not enough. We need one more. Someone with power, with authority. Everyone looked at Captain Tahoe. He glared back, his face hard. Never, he said. I won't let some alien read my thoughts. A new voice spoke from the crowd of soldiers. I'll do it. A tall woman stepped forward. She wore the uniform of a general. Her face was lined but strong. "General Jin," Tahoe said, his voice shocked. "When did you arrive?" "An hour ago," she said. "I've been watching. Listening." She turned to Soman. "I command all military forces in this region. If you want someone with authority, I have more than Captain Tahoe." Tahoe's face turned red with anger and shame, but he said nothing as the general walked to stand beside Junho and Duri. "3 human minds," Soman said. "Good. And 1 bridge." The tall figure looked at Nari. "You will help us connect. Your unique nature makes you perfect for this task." Nari nodded. She could feel Doyen's knowledge guiding her. "What do we do?" General Jin asked. "Stand in a circle," Nari instructed. "Hold hands." The 3 humans formed a small circle. Nari stood in the center. Soman moved to complete the circle, standing between Duri and the general. "Now, open your minds," Nari said. "Don't fight what comes." She reached out with her thoughts, connecting first with Chuno. His mind was familiar to her now. Warm, brave, but with doubts about his place in the world. She helped him open to Soman. Next, she connected with her grandmother. Duri's mind was deep and complex, like an old forest, full of memories, some happy, some sad. A life lived fully. Finally, Nari reached for General Jin. This mind was new to her. Disciplined, orderly. But underneath, Nari found compassion and a strong sense of duty to protect. As the connections formed, Soman's mind touched each human. Nari felt it like a gentle light spreading through the circle. Memories flowed, emotions, fears and hopes. The humans saw Soman's world, a place of beauty and peace. They saw how the Star Weavers had evolved beyond war, beyond the need to control others. They saw the community of worlds that existed among the stars. And Soman saw Earth, the long struggle of humanity. The wars and cruelty, yes, but also the art, the music, the endless creativity, the capacity for change and growth that made humans unique. Through Nari, through the bridge Doyen had created by joining with her, these minds touched and understood each other truly. When it was done, when the connection gently closed, everyone was silent. Junho had tears on his face. Duri was smiling. Even General Jin looked moved. "I understand now," the general said quietly. "We've been so afraid, so sure that anything from beyond Earth must be a threat." "Fear is natural," Soman said, "but you can move beyond it. Your minds have shown me this is possible." "What happens now?" Chino asked. "Now we decide." Soman turned to face the gathered soldiers and scientists. Humanity stands at a crossroads. One path leads to isolation, the other to connection with the wider community of thinking beings. Captain Tahoe pushed forward again. "You can't make this decision for all of Earth, for all humans." "We don't intend to," Soman said. "The choice must come from you. Not today, perhaps not for many years, but it must come." Neri felt a new knowledge rise in her mind. Doyen showing her what needed to be done. "I can help with that," she said. "As the bridge between our kinds, I can share what I know. Help humans understand what waits for them among the stars." "Yes," Soman agreed. "You are the first bridge, but perhaps not the last. Others in your family line may have the same potential." Duri nodded. "The stories in our family, about people who could hear the stars talking. They were real." "What about Doyen?" Shunho asked. "Is he really gone?" "Not gone," Neri said. She touched her head. "Here, part of me now. His memories, his knowledge, his essence." "And his ship?" General Jin asked. "The technology?" "Will remain with us," Soman said firmly. "Earth is not ready for such knowledge. It would disrupt your natural development." "Then why come at all?" Tahoe demanded. "Why show yourselves if you won't share anything useful?" "We share the most useful thing of all," Soman replied. "Knowledge that you are not alone. that there is a place for you in the stars when you are ready. And when will that be? Tahoe asked bitterly. That depends on you. Solomon looked around at all the humans, on choices you make, on whether you choose understanding over fear, peace over conflict. Above them, the great ship hummed. Lights flashed along its surface. My people are calling. Solomon said, It is time for me to go. Will you come back? Nari asked. Yes, but not openly. Not yet. Solomon looked at Nari with eyes that seemed to hold galaxies. We will watch, we will wait, and we will speak through you, Bridge. What does that mean for me? Nari asked. It means your life has changed forever. Solomon said, You are neither fully human nor Starweaver now. You are something new. Nari felt the truth of this in her mind. She was different now. The joining with Doyen had changed her in ways she was only beginning to understand. I'm ready, she said. Solomon nodded. Then listen carefully. There is one more task before you. One more choice. The tall figure leaned down and spoke directly into Nari's mind. Words that only she could hear. A message that made her heart beat faster. When Solomon finished, Nari's face was serious. She understood what had to be done. What only she could do. Yes, she said. I will. Solomon stepped back into the beam of light. We will meet again, bridge between worlds. The light grew brighter. Solomon's form became transparent, then vanished. The beam pulled back into the ship. For a moment, the great vessel hung in the sky, beautiful and impossible. Then it began to rise, higher and higher, until it was just a point of light among the stars. What did it tell you? Captain Tahoe demanded. What was that last message? Nari turned to face him. Her blind eyes seemed to see right through him now. That's between me and the stars, she said. But soon, very soon you'll know. She reached out her hands. Shunho took one, Duri the other. Take me home, she said. We have work to do. As they walked away, leaving the military base behind, Nari felt Doyen's presence in her mind. Not gone, just change. And with him, a new purpose. A great task that would change everything. The choice was coming. Sooner than anyone knew. And Nari would be at the center of it all. 1 year had passed since the night the Starweavers came. Much had changed in that time. Nari sat on the hill above her village, feeling the warm sun on her face. Though still blind to the physical world, she saw so much more now. The energy of every living thing glowed in her mind. The thoughts of people nearby whispered to her like soft music. They're coming, she said to Shunho, who sat beside her. How many this time? He asked. More than last month. Word is spreading. Nari smiled. People want to know the truth. In the year since Doyen had joined with her, Nari had become known throughout the region. The blind girl who spoke to aliens. The bridge between worlds. At first, many people feared her, but slowly that had changed. It began with her own village. Nari showed them what she had learned from Doyen. Knowledge about plants and healing. Better ways to grow food. Simple things that made life better without changing it too quickly. Then people from other villages came. They wanted to see the girl who knew the stars. Nari spoke to them all. She told them about the Starweavers, about the community of peaceful worlds that waited for Earth when humans were ready. I see the cars, Chunho said, pointing down the road. 5 of them. 6, Nari corrected. There's one more behind the others. She could feel the minds inside each vehicle. Curious, hopeful, some still afraid, but willing to listen. Shunho laughed. I don't know why I still try to tell you what I see. You see more than I ever will. We see different things, Nari said. That's why we need each other. They walked down to the meeting place. It had once been a simple field. Now it held a round building with an open roof. The Hall of Stars, people called it. Here, Nari spoke to all who came seeking knowledge. Today's visitors were from the city. Teachers, doctors, writers. People with influence who could share what they learned. Welcome, Neri said as they entered the hall. "You have questions about the stars." "About the aliens," one man corrected. He was a scientist, his mind sharp and doubtful. "We want proof they exist." "Proof is difficult," Neri said. "The Starweavers do not wish to show themselves openly yet. It would change Earth too quickly." "Then why should we believe you?" the scientist asked. Neri smiled. "You don't have to. But would you share your mind with me? Let me show you what I know." The mind sharing was what most visitors really came for. Not everyone could do it. Some minds were too closed, too afraid. But those who could often left changed forever. One by one, Neri connected with the visitors, not as deeply as her connection with Doyen, but enough to share images, memories, the feeling of Doyen's world, the vastness of space, the peace of knowing Earth was not alone. The scientist was the last. His mind resisted at first, but then he opened, just a little, enough to see a glimpse of truth. When it was done, when the visitors had gone, Neri felt tired. These sessions always took strength from her. "You should rest," Junho said, helping her to a seat. "Soon," she agreed. "But first, we need to prepare. Tonight is important." "The message," Junho nodded. He looked nervous. "Are you sure about this? Once it's done, there's no going back." "It's time," Neri said firmly. "Someone told me to wait 1 year, to let people come to me in small groups, to spread the knowledge slowly. But now more must know." That night, when the village was quiet, Neri, Junho, and Duri climbed to the top of the highest hill. With them came General Jin. After the meeting with Summon, she had become a powerful ally. "The equipment is ready," the general said. "My people have checked everything twice." On the hilltop stood a small tower, not very tall, but covered in strange metal pieces that Neri had designed. Knowledge from Doyen had shown her how to build it. "What exactly will this do?" Junho asked. "It will send a message," Neri explained. "Not with words or pictures, with feelings, with truth." "To who?" Duri asked. "To everyone," Neri said simply. "Everyone within 100 miles will feel it. They won't know what it is at first. Just a moment of connection, of understanding, of seeing beyond their own minds." "And this is what Summon told you to do?" General Jin asked. "The final message." Neri nodded. "The first step, a small test. If it works, if people are ready, we'll build more towers, reach more minds. And if they're not ready," Junho sounded worried. "Then we wait," Neri said, "and try again when the time is right." She placed her hands on the tower. It hummed under her touch, responding to the Starweaver energy that now lived within her. "Help me," she said. The others placed their hands on the tower too. They had practiced this many times. Each had learned to open their minds a little, to share their energy. Neri closed her eyes and reached deep within herself, to the place where Doyen's essence lived, where his knowledge and memories mixed with her own. "We are ready, friend," she thought. The response came at once, warm and familiar. "Yes, it is time." Energy flowed from Neri into the tower, from Doyen, through her, into the world. The metal pieces began to glow with soft blue light. The hum grew louder. "It's working," General Jin whispered. The tower vibrated. The light grew brighter. Neri felt the energy building, gathering, ready to spread outward. Then, like a wave, it released. Invisible but powerful. A pulse of pure connection that spread in all directions. For one brief moment, every mind within 100 miles felt it. A touch of something greater than themselves. A glimpse of stars and worlds beyond Earth. A feeling of peace and possibility. And most importantly, a sense that they were not alone. When it was done, when the tower went quiet again, Neri opened her eyes. "Now we wait," she said, "and see who comes to us." They didn't have to wait long. By morning, people were already walking toward the village. By afternoon, cars lined the roads. By evening, the field around the Hall of Stars was full. Thousands had felt the message. Most didn't understand it, but they knew it meant something. Something important. Not all who came were friendly. Some were afraid. Some were angry. But most were simply curious, wanting to know what had touched their minds. "What do we tell them?" Chino asked, looking out at the crowd. "The truth," Neri said. "That Earth stands at a crossroads. That how we respond to what is different will determine our future." As the sun set, Neri walked to the center of the Hall of Stars. The crowd grew quiet. "Last night, you felt something," she began. "A touch in your mind. A glimpse of something greater than ourselves." She told them about Doyen, about the Starweavers, about the choice Earth faced, to remain isolated in fear or to grow toward a future among the stars. "This is just the beginning," she said. "The first small step on a long journey. A journey we must take together." Some in the crowd nodded. Others looked doubtful. A few turned and walked away. But most stayed, listening, wondering, beginning to hope. As night fell and stars appeared overhead, Neri felt Doyen's presence strong within her. "We have done what we can," he thought. "Now it is up to them." "Yes," Neri agreed. "The choice must be theirs." She looked up at the stars she could not see with her eyes, but knew better than anyone on Earth. Somewhere up there, the Starweavers were watching, waiting to see what humans would choose: fear or understanding, isolation or connection, the old path or a new one. Neri had made her choice the night she first fed a wounded stranger from the stars. Now it was humanity's turn to choose. And as the crowd around her grew, as people began to ask questions and share their thoughts, Neri felt something she had not expected. Hope. Not just her own hope or Doyen's, but the hope of thousands of minds beginning to open, beginning to see beyond their own world, beginning to trust what was different. The Leopard from the stars was gone, but the blind girl who had fed him remained, changed forever, a bridge between worlds. And bridges, once built, can be crossed by anyone brave enough to take the first step.